So in this lecture, we'll be discussing how you can actually record your screen, the technical part, and what are the best practices to use to make your screen presentation a bit more spicy, I would say, or a bit more good looking. So first things first is let's discuss how you can actually do the screen recording, how you can actually record your screen. At the moment I'm recording on my Mac. I'm doing a recording on my M1 Mac, and it can be the software that I'm using is different than even some regular Macs and from Windows. So don't worry, I'm gonna be telling you what software that you can use in order to record your screen on Mac, both Mac and Windows, and all the features. I'll try to go with all the alternatives and things like that. So first things first is, what software do you need to do just to record your screen, just to record whatever is happening on your screen, everything right here, everything that you need to do, how you can actually do that. And the best all-around solution that I've been able to find, not I've been able to find it, I was using for years now, and I'm still using on Windows, is OBS Studio. OBS goes for Open Broadcaster Software. This is an open source screen recording and streaming software that allows you to not just record whatever is happening on the screen, you can actually stream on a bunch of different platforms, which is insanely powerful software, and it is available for Windows, for Mac, and for Linux. By the way, at the moment of the recording of this course, it's available for just a regular Mac, not Apple Silicon and M1 Macs. It's available, it runs, but it's not the best. It just overheats the computer way too fast. So it's for the regular Mac at the moment, for the Intel Macs. For M1, I think it will be coming in the future, but it's not available at the moment of recording of this course. For Windows, it's just the best, and it works great on Linux as well. So in this same software, you can actually even record the screen, and you can have some on-screen elements as well. And what's most important, you can have something similar to this that you see on the screen, similar to the on-screen face, because the OBS Studio allows you to record not just your screen, but anything that you'll put on your screen. And you can add a video capture device. In this case, it will be your camera, it will be your webcam, or maybe it will be your phone if you will connect it to your computer. And if you want to use your phone as a camera, you can use it through a software called Epoch Cam. This is basically a software, it's made by Elgato. It is a paid software if you want to have higher resolutions, but for the regular resolutions, for an SD resolutions, it works pretty fine. It's available at the moment. It's available on Mac and on for iOS, and for Android, I think it's a Droid Cam is the best option at the moment. So if you want to use live on the screen, the same thing that we talked about in a previous lecture, if you want to have your face and your screen at the same time while the recording, not afterwards doing anything, OBS Studio is the best option to start with. However, if you want some simpler solutions that unites with itself, not just a video screen recorder, but a simple video editor as well, then Camtasia will be the best option for you. Camtasia allows you to not just screen record, but to rudimentary edit your videos as well. I don't suggest you to get used to this, but if you want something very simple to learn, if you have never done any video editing, then yes, this will be the best option for you. However, it's not a free option, it's a paid option. So just know that if you want a free option, then go with an OBS Studio. There's nothing better in free than OBS Studio. If you want something more advanced, and the thing that I myself actually am using, you can use a Screenflow. This I'm actually recording with a Screenflow right at this one, because for me it works the best on Mac. But yeah, you can actually use a Screenflow as well. Again, it's a paid software as well. It's a Mac only. And yeah, by the way, Camtasia is available on Windows as well. Now, if you want to have something similar to my screen like that, and if you want to have a camera live, and you will be able to see it as well. By the way, I myself can see my face as well on the screen. You can use a software called Mirror Magnet. Again, it's available only for Mac as well. And yeah, it's a paid software, but it's a very good one. You can actually change the screen sizes and things like that. For example, you can even change it to circle, if squircle if you want, or you can go to the ellipse You can change it to just a regular rectangle. For me, it was like a heavily rounded rectangle. You can go to the landscape if you want. This is the landscape screen. If you want to see, this is how it will look like. You can even decrease or increase size however you want. You can change the border size. You can go and change opacities if you want, and things like that. Overall, it is a very powerful and very worthy software to buy. It's called Mirror Magnet. It's only available for a Mac. And if you want something that you see right now around my cursor, when you press it shows like that, when you right press it shows like that, when you press function it zooms in. You need a software called Cursor Pro. It's from the same developer, and it allows you basically to see whatever is happening around your mouse, and you can zoom in without basically losing a lot of resolution. It's an amazing software, and yeah, I highly suggest you to use that as well. And last but not least, in our software and how to use it for screen recording, it is called ScreenBrush. In my case, this is what I use for a Mac. Don't worry, I'm going to tell you what you can use on Windows as well. It's a free software with an in-app purchases, and yeah, it's basically allows you to write, show the arrows like that, or you can even make squares and things like that. You can even freely draw if you want, whatever you want. I'm very bad at drawing. I'm using my mouse. You can actually write a text if you want. Hello. And things like that. You can even it will disappear by itself. If you don't want it to disappear, you can select this one. It will just stay permanently like that. And you can change the colors, you can change size, you can even have a spotlight feature, basically to light up only the part where your mouse is, which is a very powerful one. And yeah, it's very easy to use. It's called ScreenBrush. It's available only for Mac. It has some limitations on free options, but usually it's pretty great free option. But for paid option, I don't remember exactly how much the paid option did cost. Yeah, it's just $4, $3.99 for the paid option, which is easy money and easy thing to do, like a very, very powerful and absolutely worth it. But if you have a Windows, you can go and use a software called G-Link, basically, or G-Ink. It's called GINK if you want to call it. It's available on the GitHub. It's actually an open source software which allows you to use something like that, like all the features like that. It's practically the same thing as a ScreenBrush, but it's available for Windows, and it is absolutely free and open source. This is basically the link if you want to do it. I'll try to include this in the last lecture, but I think I'm going to be including this in this lecture as well. You can go and check this out. Jink, it's absolutely free software. It's literally free. There is no catches there. It's absolutely free, and it's being updated constantly. The last update was 24 days ago, so it's a very powerful and very useful software. Now, when you have everything set up, I highly suggest you to have something that is showing your mouse position if you're using it for a screencast, because yeah, people lose track of mouse very easily, and I'm gonna make it disappear. As you can see, it's pretty difficult to see to see basically a black cursor or on a black background. It's easier on a white background, but it's same for vice versa for the white cursor. So it's better to have something that is actually showing you exact position, and if I will not touch it for a while, it will just disappear. So it's not very obtrusive and pretty useful. And it's better to use something with the zooming capabilities, because not everyone is watching your videos on a larger screen, and not everyone is consuming your content on the highest resolution. So for sometimes you actually will be very beneficial to have some kind of zooming capabilities if you are pointing to something that is pretty small. And if you have your face on the screen, it's much better when you explain it, because having an eye-to-eye contact, basically having an instructor which is talking to you directly, is far better than just to have some type of some type of disembodied voice on a background telling something without any emotions on his face, or maybe possible in this voice. So it's better to have something like that. It's better to have someone that you are actually talking about. It's better for the personal interaction, and it's better for people to remember and memorize things. As for the ScreenBrush and software similar to that, it is extremely important. Basically, when I'm going to talk about Mirror Magnet, it's far beneficial for you to me just to point an arrow like that than in any other way. Like, you know exactly now where to look. You might even miss the position of the mouse, and then I'm gonna zoom in. You will know exactly where to look, and you know exactly where to pay attention. Now, when I'm pointing like this number of arrows, you will have no right to say that you have no idea what I'm pointing towards. Now you know exactly what I'm pointing towards. Of course, this is an overkill, but yeah, it is what it is. You can actually use this for your own good and for the benefit of your students. The key point here with the screencast is that not that what you're talking and what you're explaining, it's the key is to make it as simple as possible for students to understand what you're showing and what you are telling. And by having your face on the screen like that, like me, this is my face, it's easier for them to understand what you're talking about, because students can look into your eyes like you are looking into my eyes, can understand what I'm actually talking about. And by pointing arrows and things like that, it's easier for students to understand what I'm talking about exactly on the screen. Trust me, I came to this conclusion not by some accident or by someone else telling me to do so. I came to this conclusion by myself, from my own experience. When I was explaining a lot of things on the screen, it was more often than not very difficult for students to follow, because it's easy for you, for an instructor, to know exactly what you're talking about, but it's not easy for a student, because they need to understand every single word of what you say in order to follow you in every single step of the way. So sometimes it can be very difficult to do so. So just don't make it difficult for students to follow whatever you're showing on the screen. Another thing that you can use is like drawing software, like I was drawing one of the previous lectures. And in my case, I'm just using a software called Notability. It is available on Mac and on iPad, and I'm just using my Apple Pencil. But you can just do the same thing with your mouse, or just use a simple paint. Or if you have a drawing tablet, that this will be much better. It will be insanely useful to show people what you're actually showing, what you're actually doing, because following you write and following what you're writing is much easier for people to understand. Basically, you are conveying your thoughts directly in front of your students, and it's easier for them to understand what you're doing. Or alternatively, you can use the same thing like for an arrows, for a screen brush, is that you can write a text and you can see follow the, I don't know, text or something like that. I know it can be difficult for some to follow, and it just can go away. But if you're writing the names, for example, which I should be doing more often than not, like note, for example, to explain the name of all the software, Notability. Basically, this is the software name. Now you know what software name is. Then for here, you know what? Let's do this for everything, for every single software that we talked about. You can do the same right here. It's called G-Ink, basically Gink. Now you know what the software name is. The same for this one, same for the screen brush and things like that. Now you know it's written like very clearly. You know exactly what the names are. Here it is an EPOChem, but now you can see it more clearly with this one. But the key and the case in point here is that you can basically write everything that you need to write on a screen, and it will be easier for people to understand, and it will be easier for you to explain certain things. Alternatively, again, you simply just create slides and write all the text all in advance, and it will be just easier for you to follow as well. Key is to make it as visually appealing and it's visually easy to understand for students as possible. That's literally it. All of those things are done just for that, to make it visually easy to understand what you are talking about. That's it. That's all there is. Nothing else. Okay, this will be it for this lecture. In the next lecture, we're actually going to talk about this, the talking head videos. I'm going to see you there.